Hello, everyone, and welcome to Geek number 18. I know it's been a while, but today I am joined by the lovely Shelly Shenoy. Hi, Shelly.
Hi.
And Shelly wears a lot of different hats. That is perfectly okay. We've had that happen before. Shelly is a voice actress. She has been a voiceover coach. She has done voice casting and directing for games and movies and just a bunch of different stuff. So, Shelly, do you want to give people kind of a rundown about you, about what you do?
Sure. Well, thanks for watching and tuning in. First of all, I love the people out there. So that's fun. Let's see here. So I've been voice acting for somewhere between 15 to 18 years or something like that. I started when I was really young, and was acting before I got into the world of voiceover since I was like 4 years old. And then got into voiceover right when I got to New York. And then I got into voice directing, voice coaching, career mentoring, but ultimately the voice directing has just been really great. And I've been doing that for the last 8 years as well. So that's kind of like the rundown. And then, and I'm a film actor and all that stuff. So just kind of doing all the stuff in my industry.
Just being a queen, taking over everything.
Just trying to do one thing at a time. Just trying to do one thing at a time, But I'm really passionate about what I do, and it took me a long time to get to where I am. In the voiceover world, and I had started with like film and theater and television many, many years ago, but the voiceover stuff just really took off. And now I'm at a place where I can now sort of take my time trying to get back into the world of film and television, slowly and surely working on that. And because it's like running a little business, and that's what, my wonderful go-to person, her name is Thais, and she helps me with everything. And so like we together have been operating that side of the business and getting back into that as well. So it's been great.
Yeah, Thais has been lovely.
Thais is
my conversations with her.
She's so great. She's my assistant. Anybody that like approaches me, I send them to her, and she takes care of everything. And she's a magical unicorn, and she's everything. So yeah. And she's been helping me with all of that stuff. So it's been great.
I wish someone would call me a magical unicorn.
Man, I think I called Thais a magical unicorn the first day we started working together for real. Like,
oh wow.
Because I asked her this fall, because we had worked on a little bit of like digital media and marketing and stuff like that. We had worked on that like a little bit over the summer, and it was in the fall where I was like, can we get together and have a meeting? And she was like, yeah. And I was going to ask her if she would consider being my personal assistant. And it felt like I was proposing. I was so nervous. I was like, would you maybe think about doing this? And she was like, yes. But she like raised up, like we were having drinks that were in like donkey cups. And she was like, you have an assistant. Congratulations to you. She takes a sip, and I was like, hey. But then like when we really started working on the business stuff and the personal stuff, all of the things that like I asked if she would be able to help me with, the first day I called her a magical unicorn, because she's amazing.
She sounds like it. And you mentioned you've been acting since about 4. How did you get into that?
Oh, I was lucky to have parents that were really open to what we all liked as kids. Yeah. And they tried to help us with whatever. And a lot of us were really drawn to the arts. And my parents are drawn to the arts. My mom's an artist, and my dad had dabbled in acting and stuff. They both had their full-time jobs, but they both were artists and loved it. And so when us kids wanted to get involved with certain things, my parents were all about it. So I started training when I was 4. I did my first show when I was 4 and did my first commercial when I was 7. And, the bug bit me very early. I loved it. I love the training process. I love continually learning and practicing all of the different techniques for all of the different sides of the industry. You know, and so my parents helped me as much as they could with that. And as soon as I was old enough to sort of continue on my own with like, and I'm really passionate about that, like as an adult, like I want to be in these types of dance classes, and I want to be in this like, you know, on camera technical class, and, you know, just so I continued it as an adult. I just am a firm believer in constantly needing to learn as much as possible. So so I've always done that. So it started really young. I asked to be put in classes and they said yes. And that's how it all started.
That's amazing. I always wanted to get into acting, but I live in a very small town. There were no classes or anything anywhere nearby. So I kind of feel like I missed the boat on it. So it kind of makes me sad, but oh well.
Where do you live?
I live in a very small town in Alabama.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, I mean, there are arts in every town, but there is a scale for like how much is available, you know, and there are certain things that are available online, or like coaches like me, like I've actually worked with people from Alabama and Georgia, and I'm currently working with someone from Georgia right now, you know, but like and I just wrapped with somebody in Denver. There are certain people and forms of classes you can take online now, which is lovely because you can be anywhere and learn just about anything from where you are, which is really cool. So you don't always have to be in New York.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Back when like we were kids, it's not the same. Like
yeah.
you had to be there to take it. But now with the way that the world is, we were lucky enough to be able to dabble in a lot more in a lot more things.
I'm trying to get rid of the Southern accent. It's a little hard right now, but I'm hoping it goes away at some point.
A lot of practice.
Yeah. And by the way, Horribly Awkward is in the chat, and he says, hey, which he told me to tell you hi beforehand.
Hi, Horribly Awkward.
I actually found you through him, and the funny thing was, Shelly is the voice of Kate Garcia in The Walking Dead: New Frontier, and I'd played that when I was visiting him because he's my boyfriend. So I was playing that while he was at work one night. I played it in a couple of days, and I really loved the character of Kate. And he was like, "Oh, it was either right before or after he did his podcast that I played that. I can't remember which." He's like, "That's Shelly." I'm like, "Oh, that's so cool." And then I remember you sending him the Walking Dead letter that was like a glitter bomb. It was the funniest thing ever. I'm like, I want a glitter bomb.
Oh yeah. So last year, it took me so long to put these things together, but last year, as my sort of like end button gratitude on all of the things that The Walking Dead has done for me and did for me, which is wonderful. But some of the most prominent hardcore Walking Dead fans and everybody that asked me for an interview in the last 2 years. I got all of their addresses and I sent everybody. I had made, I don't know where it is. I don't know where it is. Oh, I might have I think they're all gone, but like I had made, I have to have one in here somewhere.
It was amazing, guys. Trust me. I thought.
Hey, Thais, where are they? No, I'm just kidding. But I had these cards, and I made a Walking Dead postcard, and the front was the one of the season premiere posters for Walking Dead, so it was the official poster, and on the back, it was all fan art, like some of my favorite fan art that had come in of me, of Kate Garcia, of my dog Lucy, the things that people made me from around the world. This is the least I could do to show my appreciation. So I mailed them all over the world just to say thank you. There was glitter in all of them. they were all glitter bombs.
I loved it when he opened it. He's like, oh God, there's glitter everywhere.
Yeah, yes.
I actually think he did post a picture on his Instagram of that. So if you want to see it, guys, follow him or just look at his Instagram page. It's Horribly Awkward Show or podcast. I don't even remember my own boyfriend's Instagram handle.
I think I did a hashtag, and I think the hashtag was Shelly Shenoy thank you. I think was the hashtag Shelly Shenoy thank you. And so it was my way of saying, this is my thank you. And that was the hashtag. And people posted it from around the world, the Shelly Shenoy thank you. So I think you can find, if you look up the hashtag Shelly Shenoy thank you, or Shelly, Shelly Shenoy, whatever, like loves me, Shelly Shenoy thank you, Shelly Shenoy gratitude. I don't know what it was. But if you look, you should be able to find it pretty quickly because I put a hashtag on it.
It's awesome, guys. You should look it up. And Sean also has a question. He wants to know, how has being the main character in the Telltale Walking Dead series impacted your spotlight in voiceover?
Oh, that question answers itself. The way that question is worded actually answers itself, because here I am hustling, working really hard, doing all the stuff that I've been doing for so many years, and then boom, you start, being in this industry, it's like climbing a ladder. Mm-hmm. And every rung is a different size, and every, and length to the next one. And you continue moving forward and, climbing yourself up out of these things. And I had booked several beautiful, wonderful video games for years. But The Walking Dead was the first international spotlight that had happened. And that's what it was. It was a spotlight. And as an actor and an artist, you don't, like sit around waiting for stuff like that to happen. But if you are constantly working on this stuff and something like that does happen to you, what it does is it turns the spotlight on you and shows who you are to the world and exposes you gives you exposure to the universe that is that world. So the Walking Dead kingdom, it sort of just like waltzed me right in there. And so it was being in the spotlight. And and that happened years ago when I booked that. And I have learned so much about not just the industry, but about the ups and downs of all of it, the culture of it. And it's been amazing. And then of course it opens up other massive doors, and there it's just kind of like a chain reaction. So it was a game changer. It was a life changer.
Yeah, and you've been in several other Telltale series as well. You were in the Game of Thrones series, Batman, Minecraft Story Mode, which in Game of Thrones and Batman you're credited as ancillary voices, however you want to pronounce it. So people that don't know what that means, what does that mean?
What that means is I actually started working with Telltale with Game of Thrones in 2014. And what that was I actually was asked to audition with a loop group. And so let me tell you the story about how this happened.
Okay.
This is crazy, and this is completely off the record. I've actually never shared this story before.
Oh, wow. We're getting the scoop here.
So what happened was, I've never shared this version of the story. So, because I've talked about it, but I've never shared this part of it. And that was, hold on, I'm just going to reposition myself if that's cool.
That is totally fine.
I'm just going to get real comfortable here.
Yeah, get comfortable. Totally all about comfort.
So what happened was, the head of a sound studio in New York called me and said, "Hey, Shelly," this was at the very, very end of 2013. And he said, "Hey, Shelly, do you have a loop group?" Because he knows I've been directing and coaching and voice directing and also coaching and mentoring and doing all that and audio producing and getting involved there and learning a lot about that, getting that started. And so on a whim, he called me and he said, "Hey, Shelly, do you have a loop group?" Because he had known I had also been working with lots of actors and had lots of classes in New York already.
Yeah.
"Do you have a loop group?" And I was like, "Of course I do." And he said, "Are they authentic, legit actors?" And I go, "Of course they are." And he goes, "Can they do completely legitimate British accents?" And I go, "I wouldn't have a loop group if they couldn't." And he goes, "Great. Can you be here?" I will never forget this. This was on a Tuesday evening. This was this phone call. He goes, "Great. Can you be here tomorrow at the studio at 10 a.m. with your loop group? You're going to be auditioning for Game of Thrones to do all if your loop group books it, you're going to do all of the ancillary voices in every scene. You're going to be all the warriors. You're going to be all of the townspeople. You're going to be every group scene. You're going to have to voice it, and you're going to have to da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Yep, of course. We'll be there at 10 a.m. tomorrow. And he goes, great. Okay, so it's going to be an audition process, but we should see you right at 10. There will be some other groups there and whatever, some other actors there. But great. Please call them all up and be here at 10 a.m. tomorrow. And I said, okay, great. I hung up the phone and I went to my computer and I Googled, what is a loop group? And I did what we call a whirlwind spiral of what makes a great loop group. How do they work? How are they conducted? What goes into it? What do you need? How many people? Da, 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 da. And so I called, I found out exactly what it was, exactly what they did, how they did it. And what I then did was I called the 5 most appropriate actors for Game of Thrones that I thought I was like, I need choral performers. I need people with perfect pitch and perfect listening skills so that they can be conducted from me within the booth. I called 5 actors. It was 2 other women because it was 3 women and 3 men. So I was one of the women. So it was 2 other women and 3 men. All 5 of them answered the phone. First ring, I said, hey, can you do this tomorrow morning? I can't give you too many details. Can you meet me at 9 a.m. tomorrow morning for a rehearsal? At 10 a.m. we have an audition. All 5 actors said yes immediately. They had no idea what they were doing until they met me at 9 a.m. at a coffee shop next to the studio. We rehearsed for 45 minutes. I explained everything. We rehearsed for 45 minutes. We walked into the studio at 10 a.m. We booked it.
That's amazing.
And that's how I started working with Game of Thrones. I did all of the episodes in Game of Thrones. I switched the loop group every single time, every single game, every single episode to expose as many actors as I could to the experience. And also so that I could cater the sounds of the voices to exactly what was needed in that game at that time. So I switched up so when I did all of the looping for Minecraft, I hired 5 comedians, right? It was 5 comedically trained, improvisationally super skilled improv actors or stand-up comedians. And we had rehearsals before each one. Here are the rehearsals. This is how this is going to go. This is how I conduct. I showed them all of my hand signals. We ran through it every time. It was a success every time. So that's how I created my loop group, which is an ever-changing, evolving thing based on who's hiring me to do what. I've since been hired to do loop grouping for many feature films with like the first one I got was with Demi Moore and Alec Baldwin.
Oh, wow.
Looping for them, but like my loop group, we have an exceptional loop group. And so as far as the video game world goes, I looped for all of the episodes of Minecraft, all of the episodes of Game of Thrones, and all of the episodes of Batman.
That's amazing. And all these people in the loop group were your former students?
That is correct. Almost all of the time. Almost all of the time they are, but sometimes I just reach out to professional actors that I know if I need their voice or I need something about that. But a lot of times these are put together on short notice. And so I will hire actors that I've trained because I've trained them and I know that they know exactly how I work. And so there's going to be a really good copacetic energy of listen and response, and they're going to know exactly what I mean. And so sometimes if I need to put it together right away, I will often do this with actors that I have trained. And I also love helping them book work and book the experience and sort of, get ahead in their own careers if I can help them out.
That's amazing. And that just goes to show you guys how great of a teacher, mentor Shelly is. So if you're looking to get into voice acting, check out her website. I'll have it linked down below later after the video. I think I forgot to put it in, but I will have it linked.
It's just, it's really, I'm just NYCVO coach. That's it.
I've got all of her other social media linked, but I somehow forgot that link. That is my bad.
Don't worry about it.
But that just goes to show you how talented she is, guys. How great of a teacher she is. So If you want to get into voice acting, hit up Shelly. Give you a little promo there.
I encourage people to like look around, or don't. It's not, a sales pitch. This is just who I am and what I do. And really, if you look for me, just look for me on my Instagram. And because I'm just at Shelly Shenoy. On Instagram, I'm at Shelly Shenoy. On Twitter, on Facebook, I'm at Shelly Shenoy Official. But through like seeing me, I'd rather they learn who I am first. Yeah. And then if they're interested in who I am and what I'm about, then go look for voiceover training if they're dead serious about it. But really just, you just see sort of a little bit more about what I'm about.
Which I do have all those links down below. So go check out our Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, get to know her, all that lovely stuff. And we do have a fun question from Mr. Toon. He wants to know what your favorite thing to eat is.
Really?
Yeah.
That's such a fun question. Okay, my favorite thing to eat. I'm no joke. I'm a little bit like Popeye. I eat like at least a bag of spinach a day. Wow. I work it into I really do. I eat an abnormal amount of greens and vegetables. I eat a lot, but most of it's green. I'm not a vegetarian, but I eat like one. And yeah, lean greens and proteins and lean meats. That doesn't sound very fun, but I love cheeses. I love cheese.
Oh, yeah, me too.
I love brie and like pepper jack cheese. I love truffle. I love making truffle popcorn at home.
Oh, that sounds amazing. I love how enthusiastic you are about cheese.
Oh, I love cheese. I love truffle. My favorite, this is my like Friday night. I say this is my Friday night tradition with my puppy. It's girls' night, on Friday nights. And we do truffle popcorn. And yes, she's allowed to have a little bit of it. Just a little bit. She loves it. And root beer floats.
Oh, wow.
Just for me. Lucy, and then Lucy gets her like Friday night epic treat bone. So she gets a little treat on Friday nights.
Oh.
So yeah, she knows if I'm making truffle popcorn, she's gonna get her epic treat bone. She's connected, so she gets
making popcorn. Yes.
Yeah, it's girls' night. So yeah, those are just some of the things I love. Like I think truffle might be my kryptonite.
I don't know if I've ever had truffle, to be honest. I need to try it.
I love it. Truffle on anything. It's so great. Like truffle flavored pie. It's so good. So yeah, there's a little bit about that.
And Mark the Martian says that my southern accent is charming. Thank you, Mark. And Sean said accents are awesome. He's agreeing with Mark. So thank you, Sean, for liking my accent. Very much appreciated. Number one boyfriend. And he also said that you're always full of energy and make interviews hold on, it's cut off. Effortless. There we go.
No, I don't. I'm a terrible interviewer. No, it's fun. I love talking to people. That's very sweet of him to say. That is very sweet.
Oh, he's a sweet guy.
Yeah, I love just talking about. I obviously love talking about the business and and whatever else. What's your favorite thing to eat?
Oh, pizza. All the time. I could eat it every day.
What's your favorite kind of pizza?
I'll eat pretty much anything. Like, if I'm here, I'll pretty much just eat, like, pizza that has pepperoni, green pepper, and pineapple. I know pineapple on pizza, half of you going, ugh! But I like it.
Yeah.
If I'm with Sean, we just eat whatever on the pizza.
Sure. It's good. Pizza is delicious.
It is. You can't go wrong with it. I've never had a bad piece of pizza.
I mean, there's cheese on it. You can't go wrong.
Yeah, cheese.
Yeah.
Like, I've actually heard people not eating cheese on it, which I understand if you're lactose intolerant. But if you just don't like cheese, how do you eat pizza without cheese?
Yeah, exactly.
And let's see. Sean also had a question. He wants to know, what's your favorite personal blooper memory?
Oh, man. February 16th, 2017. I don't know why I know the exact date, but I'm a little bit Rain Man when it comes to dates of things that, and we were working on The Walking Dead. I was at Pullman Sound Studios in Midtown. We took a break. We had been working for 2 hours or something. We took a break. I went to go make myself a tea. When I came back, I put the tea down on a table next to me. And when I pulled my chair up behind me to sit on it, the chair popped on the carpet. So it dragged and popped up on the carpet. When it popped up on the carpet, it shot me forward. I hit the stand. The stand hit the microphone. The microphone started falling. The stand started falling the other way. I grabbed the mic with one hand, grabbed the stand with the other hand, but the chair continued to fall and hit the table that I put my tea on. The table collapsed because it was a collapsible table. So when the chair hit the table and the table collapsed, the tea bounced on the ground. The mug shattered in 9 different places. Glass shot up in the room.
Oh no.
Everything around me fell to the ground and I was left holding the microphone. Just me and the microphone were the only two things left standing. And I was like, and all of the engineers were on the other side of the window, and they were like, "Oh my god! Oh no! Because they saw everything, like starting like this. And at the end, like there were engineers like running in because they saw this like epic cluster of things just flying and falling because it was like a domino. And so at the end, and the engineer burst through the door, and I was like, I was just holding the microphone up. So the only thing that didn't get damaged was me and the mic. And I think that it's possible that those were the two most important things in the room, and we were fine. We were saved. So we were like,
at least it wasn't a Final Destination moment.
Oh man.
Just have to be thankful for that.
That by far was the most epic blooper. They still talk about it at Pullman. They call it like the Mr. Magoo explosion because they'd never seen anything like that before. And they were just like, do you remember the coffee mug day? So yeah, everybody remembers that blooper. So that has to be my hands down the craziest one. That was that.
And my friend Casey Tiller is here. She is a fellow actress, and she says hi. She doesn't sound like that. I just gave her that voice.
Sure.
And, focus on me, camera. Also, I wanted to mention the fact that you are in Red Dead Redemption 2. We cannot ask or answer questions really about it, but who do you play?
My character is Madame Irene.
That's about all we can say. I just wanted to mention that, though. So if you're playing Red Dead, keep an ear out. Maybe you can make out Shelly. But that's just about all we can talk about.
Yeah.
Just wanted to bring that up really quick.
Thank you. Yeah. Cool.
And also, you won an award for voice acting, for best voice acting in 2016, the AGS award. What was that like? Winning awards are silly and lovely. It's like you just always do your best, and it's always really great to like be nominated for something or to win something, or to be like written up somewhere. Like for me, yes, winning awards or accolades or things of that nature are lovely because you feel validated. So it's great, and people are validating you by going like, oh yeah, she's great. But like, but it's equally as exciting, if not even a little bit more exciting, to have a special mention in a newspaper I care about. Or like to be written up in like an article or to have an interview. Those things I really enjoy. Like when people contact me to have interviews, and then Thais and I figure out like if and when we can do it. And so if somebody,
plan something like that. So it's all really, it's all special. It's all really wonderful. But like winning awards is the same to me as like doing interviews and stuff like that. It's all just really sweet and really fun. I have a good time with it.
That's a great mindset. And Mark the Martian wants to know, why are all the post-it notes on your wall?
Okay, that's a very fair question. Those are how I track the voiceover jobs that I've done. So I have a very old system. And it's just like sort of like, this is the last year or two. And so what I do is I just sort of like, I just put up what the job was, the date was, where it was, how long I was there. And then just next to it, you just make sure that you get paid for everything. So I have a visual tracking board for making sure, and that's where you just like, you really track. That for me, that's how I track, making sure that, because I work with wonderful representation and agencies and stuff like that. But you always just want to make sure that jobs don't get lost in the mix. So I like to put them up there.
Yeah, I like to write stuff down as well, rather than just entering it on a computer or on a phone. Like, I like to have a journal. I write down all my YouTube ideas and lists of things. I just like to have it handwritten. It makes it feel more real, I guess, in a sense.
Yeah, I'm a little bit behind. I need to update this thing pretty badly, but because sometimes you get too busy to write down a job or something that you got and put it on a post-it and put all of that. But like, that's how I track everything, really. So I need to actually update this thing. It's a good reminder. Thanks, buddy.
And Casey Tiller says she agrees with you and that you have a great mindset and that you're grounded, and she is congratulating you on so much success.
That is very appreciated. Thank you so much. That's very sweet.
And Sean says he wants to take up post-it notes as a hobby now.
Sean, this is the old school way to do it. And it's like, because, electronics are great, but this is old school and I'm sticking with it.
Yeah, me too. Me too. And I did a little stalking on your Instagram and saw that you had just gone to London, and I've always wanted to go to London. I just want to know what that was like.
Yeah, it was great. I loved it. It was the first time I was traveling internationally by myself. And it went very smoothly. So I was really grateful for that, because I've traveled a lot, but it's just not like, it rarely comes up where it's like, oh, and by the way, you're going here by yourself. So that was really fun to do that. And sort of like, I made sure that, because I had some work and I had some writing and I had some photo shoots and some stuff like that. But I made sure to go see, I stayed in their theater district. I was that determined to make sure that I was exposed to what's happening in the London theater scene. Oh my gosh, I saw some wonderful shows and loved them. And so it was great. It was so much fun. And it was really sort of liberating and fun and cool to go by myself to a beautiful cafe and just sit and enjoy and people watch. It was a very mature vacation, working vacation, working trip. It was, I loved it. And I was glad that I brought my heels. And
oh yes, the red heels. I love those.
I was glad I brought those. We got some amazing photos, some London culture photos and London lifestyle and all of that. And that was really fun. I worked with an amazing team out there on that. And so yeah, it was exciting. It was strange and fun and liberating and exhilarating. I loved it.
Yeah, I just recently started traveling by myself to California, and it is really, at first, nerve-wracking, but then it's kind of like, I did it.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. So for me, I was used to traveling from when I was really little. I think I got on a plane by myself for the first time when I was 12. And so then from there, it's like not a big deal for me. I travel all the time domestically. Internationally, it's like how you felt about going to California by yourself, feeling that as an adult, being like, oh my gosh, I'm so scared. Like, I completely get that, because that was how I felt when I was 12 and I flew by myself for the first time. But then I felt all of those feelings again as a grown up, being like, here we go. You know,
My first time flying, I was 21 and I flew with my best friend to LA for the first time. And after that, I always flew with someone else until last year when I flew by myself. So I was a very late flyer, but I think I've caught up by now.
Yeah.
The amount of times I've flown. So I think I've caught up to people. So
yeah, really, really for me is I'm just telling you, I know exactly how you felt, because I just felt it recently with that trip. So I get it. And
Mr. Toon has another question regarding food. He says that he knows that I hate eggs, which I do hate eggs. He wants to know, what about you, Shelly? What kind of food do you hate?
What kind of food do I hate? Wow, we've got some hungry viewers right now. I try to stay away from foods that don't make me feel good. So, like, even though I love cheese, I don't eat too much of it, because then I feel like a little groggy. And so I stay away from like processed sugars and starches, because they don't make me feel good. So like, if I do eat bread, I eat like sprouted, like whole bread, that, and if I eat something sweet, like if I'm craving chocolate, I do what I call the smart version of it, where it's actually good for you in a way. I mean, you don't want to go crazy with like the dark cacao chocolates, but like if I am feeling craving for like a sweet sort of chocolate thing, then I'll do like a little dark chocolate, and then I don't feel crappy afterwards. So I really love foods that make me feel great, and I really don't like foods, even though they're wonderful in that moment, I don't like them because they don't make me feel good.
I have the same thing. I had my gallbladder removed about 4 years ago, and after that, certain foods that I used to love, like, I love salads, but I can't have like a huge salad anymore because it makes me feel so sick afterwards for some reason.
Oh.
I can't eat anything with red food coloring in it really. So bye Twizzlers and red Jello and all that kind of stuff.
Oh yeah. That's not, and that's like not really real food, right?
No,
so
it's not. So
make me feel good anyway. So yeah, good.
So I'm always like, you're good. You don't need that anymore. But salad, I'm like, come on. I like salad.
Yeah. Oh man, that's tough.
I know. Like, body's like, you got rid of the gallbladder. You can't have salad anymore. We don't like it anymore for that.
Oh man. Well, I hope you find good stuff that makes you feel good. You will. It's a trial and error process.
Yeah, and I mean, I still have salads. I just can't have like a humongous one anymore. Just has to be a teeny tiny one.
Good. So you know, that's great.
And Casey Tiller wants to know, are you a coffee person? That face.
Yes, I am a devoted coffee person. I love it. I love coffee. I'm fueled by it. But like, I have to be careful with it because too much is really too much. So like,
me too.
So I have to be careful with it because I really feel that caffeine, and I'm not sure that it's really great for my body. So in the last couple of weeks, like, I haven't even really mentioned this, but in the last couple of weeks, I've actually, like, as much as I love coffee, I've kind of like had to step back a little bit. I've added like water to it so that when I do have it, I like it. It's just a little bit. I kind of water it down because I kind of feel better when I do. I'm just paying attention to how I feel when I eat or drink certain things. And just in the last like month, I've had to notice that like I got to be careful because if I do have too much, I feel really, really crappy. So I am a devoted, dedicated coffee loyalist. But even still, I've had to like cut back just a little.
Oh yeah, I love coffee, but I have to drink it decaf because I can't even drink just like a mug of caffeinated coffee without my heart starting to just beat super fast because I already have tachycardia, which means my heart beats faster than normal. And I start feeling nauseous and I have panic attacks after that because I'm like, oh my God. So caffeinated coffee, I can't drink. So it's always decaf. So it doesn't really do anything. It's just
Yeah.
the taste. Uh, Sean has another question. What's the worst / best things to drink while in the booth recording VO?
Oh, good. A voiceover question in okay, so good, because I'm sure your listeners are gonna we I mean, I'm sure they love talking about truffle popcorn and coffee, but good. Yeah, so for voiceover, you gotta be really careful. You gotta know your instrument and know what you're working on. So so for me, if I'm voicing something that sounds a little bit younger,
Mm-hmm.
then if I do bring something in the booth, it's usually water, it's usually cold. And because I know that the way that it like, you know, affects how I speak. If I'm doing something a little bit older or a little bit sensual, you make sure that whatever it is that you're having in the booth is like a hot tea or beverage. You want to avoid dairy. You want to avoid sugar, because dairy and sugar absolutely affect your voice. The the amount of nuance that's involved with how much it affects your voice and how much you can feel it depends on how skilled and experienced you are as an artist in order to notice those things. But if you do start paying attention, you'll notice that they absolutely have an effect. So be careful with anything sugary and be careful not to eat dairy or sugar before you go into the booth because you can see and you can hear those things as well. But when you're drinking in the booth, when you're having something to drink, avoid dairy, avoid sugar, and pay attention to the temperatures and what it does to the muscles.
Yeah, I learned the same kind of rules because I was in choir all throughout my school years, especially in high school. I had a choir instructor who was amazing, but he was very strict and he's like, just drink water. If you have to drink something else, drink tea with honey in it. He's like, avoid dairy, avoid soda, coffee, etc. It's going to mess with your voice. He's like, in the colder months when you're trying to sing, that's going to mess with your voice. So he was very particular about what we drank, what we ate, and how the temperature was controlled where we were at. So I totally understand all that.
Yeah.
And I can tell, like, if I try to sing, which I'm not the best singer ever, I'm not going to sing right now. If I try to sing, though, I notice if I drink soda beforehand, which I try not to drink that much, it definitely does change my singing voice. Like if I drank water before, it would sound a little better if I drank water.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, as a director, if I see somebody walk into the booth and they have a can of carbonated anything, whether or not it's diet or not, the sugar or not, the fact that it's carbonated, it's like, hey, bring that out here. You're not going to take that with you in the booth.
no.
That's you can't. So yeah, all of those things apply and matter. You can't be having a carbonated,
And plus, you don't want to hear someone burping and messing up the voiceover with burps and all that kind of stuff.
It does a lot of things, and that's just one of them. So you just want to, use your common sense there.
Yeah, and I noticed if I drink soda before I sing, my voice cracks more and all that kind of stuff. So I can see how that would affect voiceover performances as well.
Yeah.
And Sean has another question.
Great.
He wants to know what your dream franchise is to work on: video games, TV, movies, or animated.
I want to be working in a green room, like in a green screen room. I want to be working on a video game. So I'm not going to name a particular franchise or whatever, but I know that like what I'd love to experience this year would be really fun would be the green suit with like if if they need to track like whatever your body, your movement and all of that. That's something that like, I've tiptoed in areas around that in the industry, but like right now, of course, my goal would be to go after something that's never happened for me yet. And so head to toe, Sean, what's the name of that when you're, green screened and you're in the suit? I'm forgetting. Motion capture. Thank you. Hello. So sorry, I haven't had enough coffee, clearly.
Oh, it is fine.
But yeah, I would like this year. So if my dream project this year would be, if I had a dream project this year I would love to work on motion capture.
That'd be really
and to answer Sean as well for this, like, in VO, it would be for motion capture. And then for me as an artist, I know that I'm going to be working more on camera as well. And I think that those two things go hand in hand. So it'll be fun to use more of my body in the work that I'm doing. And I have a feeling that's going to be what my 2019 is going to be like.
That's going to be awesome. I'll definitely be supporting you every step of the way.
Thank you.
And Casey Taylor wants to know, if you get sick, how do you handle that when you have to work, and what helps you?
That's a really good question, because it's inevitable. Like, it happens. And this is my moneymaker. And so, like, I've got to be careful. Like, if I'm getting ready to do a voice directing session and somebody's like, yeah, I'm just getting over a cold, I will reschedule them, because I have to be so careful and protective of, like, no, I can't be with you in the booth when you could possibly get me sick and hurt my career. So no. But when you do get sick, when it does happen, tons and tons, you've got to, what one of my brothers, Ben, and I have always said since we were kids, you have to flood it. So when you get sick, you have to flood it. That means, like, you've got to flood it with, like, the most natural products from the earth. And so what I mean is more water than you've ever drank. So to sort of disallow anything to sit, resonate, or grow, that, like a bacteria or something. So you've got to flood it. So you've got to hydrate 4 times more than you regularly hydrate. Then 2, salt, ginger, spices, hotness, like heat, honey. So all of those things, lemon, all of those things, however you do them, that's what's important. So you've got to have a lot of citrus. You've got to have a lot of, like, ginger. You've got to, salt does everything. So I will gargle with salt. I will gargle with apple cider vinegar. I will do neti pot, where you have the warm water in the pot with the neti salt, and you run salt through your nose. You got to do a combination of all of that stuff, and be diligent about it. Don't be lazy when you get sick. It takes work to get better, and then you got to be easy with yourself. Give yourself the actual time you need to heal. So as soon as somebody says, oh, I'm feeling like 90%, I can get back in the game, that means that you have, from the time you feel almost completely well, you have to know and understand that your body actually needs another month after that. So, like, you are continually recovering. So you have to be easy on yourself, because that's how people get sick again, is they felt really good and then they started living their normal life again, as opposed to the cautious care style that you have to take care of yourself. And that's how they get sick again. So you gotta be good to yourself.
I'm like that. If I ever get sick, I'm like, I gotta feel 100% before I do anything.
Yeah.
If I'm feeling 90%, nope. I gotta be all the way better.
Yeah, and you don't do the medicines for another month. You just take it easy. You just have to pay attention to how you're really feeling. So if you're at, like, 90%, so, like, let's say your cold ended last week. So for the whole next week, you're feeling good again. Well, don't go crazy at the gym. Don't go crazy with work. Make sure that you continue to rest. Make sure that you continue to give your body credit for healing, because it is still actually healing. And make sure that you continue to drink as much water as possible, but not the way that you were when you were actually sick and trying to, like, flood it out. You know what I mean? Just take care. Just give yourself the credit and the time.
I'm saying goodbye to Mr. Toon. He is leaving. Bye, Mr. Toon. And then Sean has another question. He's been really good with questions today. He says he thinks you would be amazing at hosting a TV game show. What one would you do if you were offered?
Oh, man. Probably something very similar to what Ellen does.
A game of games?
Yeah, something like that. Like it would for sure be something like that because like you would want to like be involved in what they're doing and like playing and laughing. And so I love comedy. I love playing and laughing. I love hosting. I've done it. It's a blast. You're just yourself, just having a great time. So yeah, that would be really fun. I would do something like that.
Yeah, I saw one episode of that show, and I just thought it was hilarious when like she'd push the button and people would fall down.
Yeah.
And they'd be like, no, don't do it, don't do it, don't do it. Ah!
Yeah. It's a good time. You're messing with people's livelihoods. It's fun. Just kidding.
It is fun. Take joy in it. And Casey wants to know Xbox or PlayStation, and she said, yes, I had to go there.
I have a PlayStation 4 at my house. And I think my gamer name is Shellys D, but I'm rarely on it. It's fun. I play like Grand Theft with my brothers and stuff like that, but like I'm rarely on it, but it's fun. It's there. I love it when I can get on.
Now I want to know, what are some of your favorite video games that you have played?
Well, from when I was a kid, I loved Pitfall. It was a game called Pitfall. I can't even tell you why I loved it. I was obsessed with it. And then as a young adult and then into my, 20s, I loved all of the Nintendo games. I just loved them all. I was a master at like Mario Kart and all of that. Like I just loved it. So, yeah, those were the games that I loved, that I played. Loved all of them.
I actually tried to play Pitfall last year, I believe. My uncle had found an Atari at a garage sale, and the graphics are like, I know back then they were considered to be super amazing. People thought it looked real, but nowadays you're like, a bunch of pixels.
I was a little kid and I loved that game because my brothers had an Atari and they played a bunch of whatever. But for me, learning how to play, I think it was the first game I learned how to play. And I was a child, and it was just a very special experience for me, and I loved it.
And the Yellow Kazoo wants to know, what's the story behind the name Shellys D, which I know this, I get it, but for anyone that might not know.
Because Jack Black has a band called Tenacious D, and he's so funny, and I love Jack Black. So and then I've had people call me Shellys D before, and so then they were like, pick a username for the PlayStation. I didn't, want to just full out be like Shelly Shenoy, obviously there, but like I was like, Shellys D, that's funny. So I went with it.
Yeah, and they also had a movie called Tenacious D and the Pick of Destiny. So,
mm-hmm.
And also Jack Black has a YouTube channel now. Did you know that?
Oh, fun! Good for him.
Yeah, it's called Jablinski Games. Doesn't have any gaming up yet, but he's just fun to watch. They're not like the highest quality videos or anything, but they're fun to watch. So I highly recommend, if you're a fan of him, check it out. And they're always really short videos too, so
cool,
entertaining. And plus, he got like 1 million subscribers in one day.
Right.
So he's doing well on YouTube.
Nice.
And let's see. Casey also wants to know, do you prefer Marvel or DC?
It's been mentioned by one of my reps that I might be auditioning for Marvel.
Oh.
Like for on camera.
Oh, that's amazing.
This year at some point. They've got so at some point I might be auditioning for Marvel this year on camera. So I have to say Marvel because
that's incredible.
Because who knows? So yeah.
I'm a huge Marvel fan, so that makes me super excited. I mean, I love DC too, but Marvel first, in my opinion.
So we'll see. We have no idea. We don't know anything, but that could be pretty dope. So so I'm gonna have to go with that.
And I know that we're almost out of time, but I just wanted to know, what have you been obsessed with lately? Like any specific movies or TV shows or books or anything in general?
That is a lovely last question. Um, the things in general in my life that I've been obsessed with as of late, like the most recently, um, I love I know this sounds ridiculous, but these are the things that give me that like restore my energy or like bring me back to me feeling great. And that is I love writing.
Mm-hmm.
And I love writing in my journal. And I have a gratitude journal. And every single morning and sometimes also at night, I love to write about the not just what I'm currently grateful for that's like happening in my life, but also I just love writing about like the possibilities of other things happening and how grateful I am that they're even a possibility on the table. And like and it might be far-fetched, it might be like fantasy writing, it might be like, but I just love living in that air of magic that is gracious and grateful, and it brings me so much joy. So, to write out about like, just like, just how grateful I am about whatever, and then seeing where that leads, and like, about all the things that I want and am planning for and I'm hoping for, and just being grateful for that I could even like be in a position to feel that way. So there's that. My other is I love going to steam at my gym, and then I love walking home from there because my gym is 6 miles from my house. And I love that walk because I listen to my music, I make phone calls, I reconnect with my friends, and that's been a lot of fun. And then lastly, I just finished season 4 of Schitt's Creek, which is a show on TV, which I think you can see all of them on Netflix now.
I've been meaning to watch that for a while now.
And it is such an easy show to watch, and it makes me laugh so hard to watch these people in this situation fully relearning who they really are. And so the show makes me laugh, it makes me get emotional at the end of all of it because it is so sweet, it's so funny, it's so well done, and it's just about a family of good people that were raised terribly, and they're pulling through. And when I say terribly, what I mean is they were billionaires and they were awful people, and then everything was stripped from them, and so then they're left with nothing, but then their real selves and real loves come through, and you start to get to know who these people really are, and it is so funny and so fun. So I've loved that. That's what I've just recently wrapped up, and I've loved every second of it.
Yeah, I know Eugene Levy and his son are very heavily involved in the writing of that show, so I can
They
imagine.
created it. Yeah, they created the show.
Oh, okay.
And they wrote it. And it's also, yeah, a real family adventure too, because they created the show inside their family. And Eugene Levy and his son Daniel, Daniel also has a sister, and his sister is also in the show. She plays the waitress in the series. She doesn't play his actual sister, but she's in the show as well. So it's a real family, a Levy family, production, and they're just great. They're so creative and so funny. So it's really fun to see all of that.
It does sound wonderful. And we are out of time now, but thank you so much, Shelly, for coming on. It's been so good to get to know you and just to have fun with you and have this conversation. And thank you to everyone who watched and asked questions. And do you want to tell anyone anything? Do you want to promote yourself or whatever?
No, yeah. So thank you so much for having me, Alyssa. And I'm just, thanks to everybody that like stopped by in the chat room and asked some fun questions. That was great. And my Instagram is at Shelly Shenoy, and all of the posts are lifestyle and work, but all of the stories are like sort of what I'm really actively doing. And so you see a lot of personality in the stories. And so that's everything that I'm doing, and I'm having a great time. So you can find me on the web. Whatever.
And again, I have all those links down below, so follow her everywhere. And we're going to go, but I love you guys. And again, thank you so much for watching. And again, thank you, Shelly, for coming on. And I hope you have a great day, both
Thanks,
to Shelly
guys.
and to everyone watching. So
Thanks,
we're going
Alyssa.
to go.
I appreciate it. Have a good one.
You too. Bye, everyone.